That was a waste of time. Didn't that feel like a waste of time? What did we learn about the 49ers in that game? We didn't get to learn anything other than that the offensive line isn't good. We knew that already. The offensive line was so bad in this game, we couldn't learn about the quarterbacks, the wide receivers. Well, we learned a little bit about the wide receiver and some of the running backs. But the offensive line was so bad, it was the dominant story of the night. It was so bad, it really inhibited the 49ers' ability to evaluate other positions. Let's go through it. I mean, Trent Williams didn't play. Mike McGlinchey didn't play. They'll come back. They'll help. Jalen Moore started at left tackle. He was horrendous. They keep saying, like, well, we don't want to play him at tackle. We want to play him at guard. They keep playing him at tackle. He's a horrendous tackle. He was awful. He was the worst of the five. Aaron Banks got all the starting reps at left guard. Not much better. Jake Brendel looked like a freaking all-pro compared to the other people around him. Spencer Burford, the rookie who had been playing so well all offseason, 2 holding penalties, not going to get it done. And then right tackle Colton McKivitz, I didn't notice him mess up anything, but I'm sure if I go back and watch the film, I'm sure he did. Then in the second half, you got Jason Poe in who has done a lot of things well this offseason, but he whiffed. He struggled. Jordan Mills was awful. Freaking sorry, Jordan. But everyone on this offensive line has to own it. And I think what's sobering about this game is that although the 49ers didn't game plan and they can do a lot better, this offensive line, there's only so much you can do to mask this. I don't know how you fix it. Yes, Trent Williams comes back, but this is why I ranked Nick Bosa number 1 on the team and not Trent Williams. There's only so much Trent Williams can do. He's one offensive lineman. It's not his fault, but one offensive lineman doesn't necessarily make the next offensive lineman better. So the Niners have the best left tackle in football. That's great. They still have a below average offensive line unless a bunch of young guys step it up. And tonight we saw a line of guys who aren't going to be stepping it up anytime soon. I mean, who are they facing? Mario Addison? The offensive line was really concerning. And I think that the Dolphins are waiting for the Niners to cut an offensive tackle. They're thinking like, the Niners won't keep Trent Williams, Mike McGlinchey, Justin School, Colton McKivitz, and Jalen Moore. Well, who cares? Take Jalen Moore. Take Justin School. What are those guys doing for you? I don't know. I just feel like it's kind of amazing. We're a few weeks before the season starts, and everyone's been so focused on the quarterback position. And I've been saying, like, yeah, okay, but respectfully, I think the offensive line is kind of going to determine where this team goes. And then the dress rehearsal, the offensive line doesn't show up. It's like, yeah, this is what I'm talking about. This is my concern, that the 49ers are crossing their fingers and hoping and praying that 2 rookie guards bail them out, that Mike McGlinchey gets healthy, that Jake Brendel is a revelation at 30. You understand? I don't think it's that outrageous to expect Trey Lance to step up, but what they're expecting on the offensive line is a little pie in the sky. Haha says, Grant, thank you for giving honest takes about this team. It's rare in this space. Thank you, Haha. I try. Is this Haha Clinton Dix? What happened to you? Anyway, the Niners have to figure this offensive line thing out because all this game revealed was that it's a huge issue, and they've been kidding themselves. And J.C. Treader is no longer an option. He retired. I want to talk about Debo Samuel, and maybe he's too active on social media or he's been too successful in the NFL for people to keep it real, but he blocked me, so I don't care. I'm going to say the truth about Debo Samuel. He's not the same as he was last year. You saw him run that fade route up the right sideline. He's been doing this for weeks. He can't separate. He couldn't separate from this guy. He can't run away from Diamador Lenore, Emmanuel Mosley, any cornerback. They manufactured a deep throw to him in practice a couple of days ago. Who'd he beat? Tavarius Moore. the guy who can't run following an Achilles tear. Debo Samuel is concerning to me because last year the Niners squeaked into the playoffs because of Debo. Debo was superhuman. He went like Super Mario. He was like Mario walking around and all of a sudden got the mushroom and the fireballs and the raccoon tail. He was all of that. Right now, he's just little Mario right now. Actually, he's like big Mario. He looks bigger than last year. Can we be honest? He looks bigger and slower than last year. And was this not the Niners' concern with Debo? Well, what's going to happen when we give him money? Well, look at him now. How do you use him? He drops passes over the middle. He doesn't separate vertically. He's great when you throw him the ball behind the line of scrimmage. There's only so many ways you can do that. I don't know. I know the 49ers like to make everyone happy, but I think a lot of people argued that maybe it would be best to go year to year with Debo because the Niners had these questions about him. So they just made his dreams come true, give him the most guaranteed money of any Niner ever. How's he responding? Run faster. I don't know what to tell you. That wasn't good enough. And it's not just a one-off. I've been seeing it all offseason with Debo. Not separating vertically. Looking slower. I don't know what it is about NFL players, but there's something about getting that bag that makes you slower. How many times have you seen it? I remember Jimmy Graham getting the bag with the Seahawks and all of a sudden not being fast anymore. It's like, how heavy is the bag? You know you can deposit the bag in the bank. You don't have to carry the bag on your back. But no, Debo carrying the bag on his back. Yes, Debo, I'm trying to shame you into running faster and playing better because this has been an ongoing pattern with you all offseason. It's not – if this is who you're going to be this year, this team isn't going to win a Super Bowl. You need to be the guy that makes the push. You need to be in the best shape of your life like you were last year. I've been trying to tell people in a very polite, respectful way that you're not there. Now they get to see it for themselves. Let's see what the comments say. Do they agree or disagree? Let's see. Sean McGee says, here's $5. He agrees. I can tell just from the $5 that he gave me. Faithful now says, Grant, shut up. You're pathetic. He disagrees, or she, or they. Hard to say in today's climate, but it's one of them. And they disagree. Kyle runs the ball on 4th and 2. What's new? Yeah, it's almost like he wasn't trying to win this exhibition game. Dude, this is a must-win exhibition. JG played with this O-line. Why can't Lance? Well, Laken Tomlinson was on this team. Alex Mack was on this team. So not really. He didn't really play behind this offensive line. But Niner not a bot. What are you saying? Are you saying that Jimmy Garoppolo should be given a 6th opportunity to show that he's not a top 10 quarterback and not a legitimate franchise quarterback? He had half a decade to show something. The whole league looks at him as like the 20th best at best quarterback in the league. It's time to give Trey Lance an opportunity. You really going to write him off because he went 7 for 11 in a preseason game behind Jalen Moore? Let it go. Give him a chance. Jimmy Garoppolo was afforded 5 years. Trey Lance hasn't made his 3rd start. Can you just relax? He didn't even get a chance tonight. Marcus Wright says, here's $5. I appreciate you. Is that so outrageous? Give him a chance. We gave Jimmy Garoppolo 5 years. 5 years to prove that he might be a top 10 quarterback, and he wasn't. All right. Let's talk about the running backs because the 49ers really haven't shown their offense. It must be rough to be a Niner fan right now because the offense looks just terrible, but take solace in the fact that they haven't shown it yet. They're a run-first team. They're going to be running from the pistol formation with all kind of misdirection and option stuff, and they haven't shown any of that yet. They also are going to need some good running backs. And last year they had Elijah Mitchell, who has been hurt all offseason. He missed minicamp, OTAs, and all but a couple of weeks of training camp. Last year he was good, but he had a great offseason, came into the season terrific shape, and still got hurt a bunch of times and missed like 6, 7 games. This year he's been MIA. Kyle doesn't necessarily lean on people he trusts from the past. It's at running back especially. It's like, how fit are you now? How good are you right now? What kind of shape are you in right now? Elijah Mitchell is not necessarily the number one running back on this team. I think it's an open competition, at least until Elijah Mitchell gets into shape. And right now, he's leaving the door wide open for someone to walk through, and I think Jeff Wilson Jr. is walking through. People say, oh, yeah, well, Jeff Wilson Jr. gets hurt all the time. Well, so does Elijah Mitchell. Elijah Mitchell's hurt right now. Jeff Wilson Jr. is the one who's been healthy all offseason. He's the one that's had a great offseason. And if you watched him today, he looked like himself. Explosive, decisive, powerful, ferocious, all the good things we like about Jeff Wilson Jr. I think people don't understand that this is the starting running back on the team. Jeff. I think Jeff Wilson Jr. is one of the more underrated running backs in the league. He can play fullback too. He can do a lot of the blocking things that they asked Kyle Juszczyk to do. And he's a 3-down back. He's a good receiver too. Jeff Wilson Jr. is going to have a hell of a year unless he gets hurt. But that's every running back. So they have the return of Jeff Wilson. That's huge for this team. If Elijah Mitchell could get on board, that'd be nice too. You still have Debo Samuel. I don't think Trey Sermon or Ty Davis Price should make this team. Now, probably both of them will, or at least one. But frankly, you only need 4 running backs, maybe a fifth if it's a fullback. But the 4 running backs on this team, when healthy, should be Elijah Mitchell, Jeff Wilson Jr., Jordan Mason, and JaMychal Hasty. If we're going on merit, I don't care about draft spot. I don't care. You were a 3rd-round pick. I don't care. You had all offseason to outperform these undrafted free agents. You didn't. The top 4 running backs on this team on merit: Mitchell, Wilson, Mason, Hasty. At no point did Sermon or Ty Davis Price outperform those guys. So if you want to keep 1 or 2 of those, it's got to be in addition to the other 4. And if you cut Jordan Mason, you better make sure he makes it through waivers. If you lose Jordan Mason because you kept Ty Davis Price and or Jimmy Garoppolo, I'll never let you hear the end of it. I will more on you in the minute to death. Forever. It's true. All right, let me answer these questions. When has Debo ever won vertical? When has Debo ever won vertical? Well, he's had Jimmy Garoppolo. Last year, I think he could have won vertical. Last year, he was one of the most explosive players in the league. This year, he looks bigger and slower, unless you're in denial. What do you think? Grant, you think Jimmy will end up in Seattle? No, I think Jimmy's going to end up on the 49ers this year. I don't think he's going anywhere. He's not getting traded. He's not getting cut. He's going to stay on this team. That's my hot take, and I'm sticking to it. And I'm going to win. Mason for 3rd running back, and Dwelly showed out today. You got it. Do you understand how happy I was, how proud I was at Ross Dwelly? I've been so right about Ross Dwelly for so long. All he needs, he never drops the ball. He made that catch. They immediately cut to George Kittle. He was like, that was a really nice catch. That was a nice catch. Like, yeah, like you wouldn't have caught that, George. I mean, I'm not saying Ross is better than George Kittle, but that's George. Only Ross can do that. I don't see why they don't give him opportunities. He's the most shorthanded tight end, maybe of all time. Good job, Ross. Also an American hero. Did you know that? Eric says, trade, pick up another O-line guy. Can't be it. I mean, it's too late. It's too late, guys. They picked up the best offensive tackle available. They could trade for Isaiah Wynn. That would be great. But these 2 guards that we thought were these, real huge additions, well, they both stumbled over the latest hurdle. Burford and Poe, Banks. I don't know about these guards. All of a sudden, it's like, Brunskill, where art thou? Peyton Wisdom says, is Trey the kind of vocal leader that superstar players like Debo and which Mitch season? I don't know. Mitch is very vocal in the locker room. I don't know if Trey can corral him. Marcus Wright says, I agree. I'm just saying he can put up 1,500 without. So why require it now? Leave that to BA. Who? Debo? Okay. I feel you. Sorry. Haha says Jimmy Ward is criminally underrated. Without his versatility, this defense is 25% worse. He might have a weak hammy all year. Yeah. What's rough is that fans won't get to see what this defense was looking like with both Wards and Mosley healthy. That defense was looking crazy, and I don't know if that's ever going to materialize. Maybe that's what you get for banking on a 32-year-old DB. Sorry, Jimmy, but football's a cold world, and this kind of thing was bound to happen eventually. So hopefully he can bounce back because I want him coming on my channel, like big time. 2017, we traded for Tomlinson 6th round before week 1. I think it was after week 1. I think it was week 2. But yeah, they can make a move. How about Isaiah Wynn? Isaiah Wynn. I say Isaiah Wynn. Don't actually rely on Mike McGlinchey. Who said Trey's a bust? John said Trey's a bust. I don't have much more to talk about. I'm tired. It's late. Sam Womack looked good. He got flagged in the end zone, but he came right back and forced another interception. He's big. He's so good, they're giving him looks outside because, what's up with Travarius Ward? And what's up with my face? Hold on. They just might have to play Womack outside. Cesar Lois, hold on. Cesar Lazos says this O-line will ruin Trey's chance to gain experience with deep plays. He will have to spend more time running than trying to look downfield. What do you think? This is what I've been saying all offseason. No one worries about the offensive line until right around now. Because in theory, the offensive line is great. And then you see it in practice, and it's like, oh, this is terrible. They should have done something. Do something. They should get another offensive lineman. Yeah, well, that's something you kind of have to do in March. These guys are tough to find. That's why, I'm a jerk, and I try to do quality control ahead of time. Like, hey, I think this offensive line is going to ruin. And everyone's like, no. It's all going to be about Trey until you see Trey running for his life, and you're like, well, it's not really fair to Trey. No, it's not. That's what I was saying. I don't think it's really fair to Trey. Hey, Grant, love watching your videos, Go Niners. Thank you, Ryan. I wish I had more for you tonight. I'm just exhausted, and there's not that much to talk about, and it's preseason. I hate it. Are we going to let McGlinchey walk next year? Yeah. Unless he has some kind of remarkable, not even rebirth, because he was never great, never good. So, yeah, go get Isaiah Wynn. Where was Char Ward? He's been hurt for like 3 weeks. Not great. The two guys on the Niners who got the bag this offseason, Ward and Debo, didn't have great offseasons. Now, Ward, when he was healthy, looked phenomenal. But that was like a week and a half. So maybe the Niners should stop giving out the bag. The Patriots are reluctant to give out the bag. The Niners are bent over backwards to give out the bag. I don't know. Bag-wise. I feel like I'm trying to. It's 19 minutes, and really, the only takeaway from this game was, wow, that offensive line was awful, huh? Phyllis, did you see that offensive line yet? It was awful. Yeah, it was terrible. I couldn't block anyone. Yeah, left tackle, right tackle. I mean, they had no one. Yeah, what do you think? It was. You couldn't evaluate anything, right? I mean, that's the whole thing. Did you watch that game last night? Yeah, the offensive line was terrible. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, of course, Trey Williams didn't play, but he's just one guy. I mean, what are you going to do? That's my water cooler conversation of this game. Well, sure, Trent Williams coming back, but, was he? I'm sorry. But at least I got Drake Brendel. Hero Winchester says Debo should be the starting running back. Anything he does receiving-wise is a plus. I think Kyle really wanted Debo to be what Jalen Hurd. I agree. And again, what I've been trying to say is that in practice, Debo's playing a lot of running back. In preseason, he's a wide receiver. But in practice, he's all up playing running back, running Texas routes, wheel routes. I'm just saying, all up in the video, dancing. I think Kyle's got a whole lot of stuff he's keeping up his sleeve. We don't know the configuration of his starting offensive line. We don't know who his starting running back's going to be. We don't know how he may have an inexperienced. Look at it this way. He has an inexperienced quarterback, but he also has the element of surprise on his side. You have no freaking clue what the Niners are going to do with Trey because Trey didn't even play in college. It's not like you can be, well, here's what Colin Kaepernick did in college. The Niners are going to do something similar to that. Or here's what Robert Griffin did at Baylor. Kyle's going to do something similar to that. Trey has never played football ever in his life. There's nothing that teams can look at. And the Niners haven't tipped their hand. They've shown it to me a little bit in practice, but they haven't tipped their hand. So, something to look forward to. As awful as this, 0 points tonight. You guys really just sat through a 0-point outing. I'm so sorry. But take solace in the fact that a very intriguing running game is on the way. And if only the Niners can protect Trey a little bit as a passer, they might have something. Although Jimmy Ward's injury is not great. Yep, agree with that. Yep. Okay, that's the whole show. I'm done. Go to bed. It's a Thursday night. You have work tomorrow. We should all be going to sleep. It's past my bedtime. Carson Taylor says, where's that Kyle Shanahan interview? I got to talk to Kyle. Here's Kyle's thing. So Kyle will only give like one-on-one interviews before training camp. That's just so. I asked him a week after John Lynch 2019. He was like, I will, but not now, like next year. And then the pandemic hit. So I haven't followed up with him. It's been 3 years. So maybe next year. But, Kyle, I'm too real for Kyle. He's not ready for it. I just asked the hardest questions of all time. I'm a menace to society. All right, show's over. Thanks for watching. I'll be back tomorrow at 9 a.m. with Jose and Leo Luna, to do a little all 49ers roundtable. And then at 11 with Ryan Hensley. So we have a lot of 49ers content first thing in the morning. Let's go to sleep on this 0-point outing that we just saw, and then spin it forward tomorrow, okay? Let's get our beauty rest. It's a Thursday. Go to bed. Thanks, guys. Take care.